Welcome back to the BJack 70 show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson, and we don't have a lot of news, surprisingly, to talk about today. As of recording, I'm doing this Thursday at 6:30. You're going to see this Friday morning, but we got news. We talked about stuff on Monday. Um, we didn't talk about a couple things that have happened since then. So I'll just get into those in a little bit. But before I do, just want to say go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, share the channel, get the word out, let the channel grow, help the channel grow. And I really appreciate it. I will thank you. I'll thank you in advance for going ahead and doing that. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about just a couple things, little bit of news that happened since the last time I talked to you. Last time I talked to you about the Browns, formulating their offensive line in that emergency pod on Tuesday. Yeah, let's go Maxx Crosby first. So Maxx Crosby, the huge news of the week, really. Maxx Crosby was going to be a Raven. The Ravens were going to trade 2 first-round picks, pick this year and pick next year, for Maxx Crosby to join their team. Before the physical, after the physical is kind of in question. We're unsure when that decision took place, but they decided to back out of the trade. They decided they didn't want Maxx Crosby anymore, or at least they didn't want Maxx Crosby for 2 first-round picks. So they nixed the trade. They backed out of the trade. Maxx Crosby is still a Las Vegas Raider. And then the Baltimore Ravens decided to go get Trey Hendrickson, who was still a free agent. And Trey Hendrickson now is a Baltimore Raven. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I probably like this better if I'm a Ravens fan. Maxx Crosby is a great player, absolutely dominant player. But for somebody coming off a knee surgery, meniscus repair, but coming off a knee surgery, I don't know if I want to give that person 2 first-round picks or give up 2 first-round picks for that, especially when I'm losing parts of my team in free agency and not really recouping them. So I think this is a much better option for the Baltimore Ravens if I was a Baltimore Ravens fan, getting Trey Hendrickson, not pulling trigger on Maxx Crosby. That being said, it looks bad. It looks really bad. It looks sketchy, looks lowbrow, looks all types of negative for the Baltimore Ravens, but I don't think they care. I don't think they care. And frankly, as an NFL team, they shouldn't care. They shouldn't care. They should not care what the outside world thinks as long as it was within the rules. They did the physical. They didn't like what they saw in the physical. They backed out. As long as everything that they did was within the technical rules, letter of the law, they shouldn't care what other teams, what other people think. They're going to do the best for their franchise. And, it looks bad. It looks scummy. It looks scammery. But, tough shit. I don't love it as a Browns fan. I don't love that they were able to back out of the deal. As a Browns fan, I'm glad that they don't have Maxx Crosby. Not to say that Trey Hendrickson isn't good, but I think Maxx Crosby is just a step above. So, say what you want to say, but the Ravens did exactly what they felt like they needed to do, and that was back out of the trade. And they got an edge rusher still. So they probably came out on top in this. Maxx Crosby, though, going back to the Raiders, apparently it just looks like he's just going to be a Raider. Um, he posted about being a Raider, that they're going to run it back. Um, I mean, he really didn't want to leave in the first place. Like, he didn't want to get put on injured reserve at the end of the season. I don't think he really wanted to leave Vegas in the first place. But the team thought they could get better trading him away for some first round picks. But they bring him back. Um, I'm like, what can you do if you're the Raiders? What can you do? Because if you're trading him away, if you wanted to still trade him away, there's the suitors really aren't there, especially for that asking price, especially for 2 first round picks. What I've seen on the internet being said, Baltimore was the only team offering 2 first rounders. So it's got to be really disheartening for them. Not only do they not get the first rounders, they get Maxx Crosby back. Like, okay, cool, but his cap hit comes back to the team. Now you gotta, rehab Maxx Crosby. Are we gonna do this again at the trade deadline coming up this year? Is it gonna be, a topic all off season, all training camp? So it's kind of more of a distraction than you would have wanted for a new head coach, for assuming a new quarterback in the building, number 1 overall on Fernando Mendoza, not something that you want him to have to answer questions about on a regular basis. You kind of wanted a clean slate there, but still a couple weeks for, until we get to the draft. But yeah, it's just like, what can you do? If I was a Raiders fan, I'd be upset. I would want those first round picks. But now you still got Maxx Crosby, and you're a Raiders fan, so good luck. Good luck, I guess. So that was that news. That was the big news coming, since we last spoke. And then one more thing I wanted to get to. Kyler Murray has officially been released, and he's not a Minnesota Viking yet. I find that interesting. Literally, as I get done recording, I get off, check my phone. Kyler Murray has signed with the Minnesota Vikings. So everything that I was talking about doesn't matter. He's now a Viking. He's finally signed with the Minnesota Vikings, like we all expected. A minimum deal, $1.3 million, because the Cardinals are paying him $35 million to go away. So he's going to be a Minnesota Viking. And this is what I wanted from as soon as it was clear that Kyler Murray wasn't going to be the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. I wanted him as a Minnesota Viking because I want to pair him with Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell, we've seen what he did with Sam Darnold. Whatever he was able to do, whatever knowledge he was able to impart onto Daniel Jones to have, push him to success in Indianapolis. Not so much, with JJ McCarthy. You probably have to have a baseline amount of talent to be able to, for Kevin O'Connell to get it out of you. But I think he's going to have that same level of achievement with Kyler Murray. I'm extremely happy, extremely excited for him to be paired, for Kyler and Kevin O'Connell to be paired up, for Kyler Murray to be throwing to Justin Jefferson. Kyler had success throwing to DeAndre Hopkins. He had success throwing to Hollywood Brown. The fact that you're going to be able to throw the football to one of, if not the best wide receiver in the NFL today, Justin Jefferson, um, is going to be, at least for fantasy football, is going to be excellent. For real football, this this is gonna unlock some big plays for the Minnesota Vikings. I'm excited for this team. I'm excited for how it's gonna look. Um, Over the weekend, I need to grasp, you know, wrap my head around what exactly is going to look like. But I think this raises the Minnesota Vikings ceiling immensely. Um, this will enable them to fight for this division. This is going to be the best division of football. Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago. It's going to be fireworks in this division because Minnesota's defense is good. Brian Flores is still, still defensive coordinator there. I trust Kevin O'Connell implicitly when it comes to offense. Maybe I should or shouldn't, but I trust him implicitly when it comes to getting good offenses and good offensive production on the field. Um, I never believed in JJ McCarthy, so I'm not putting that on Kevin O'Connell. So it is what it is. Get mad if you want, but that's how I feel. So yeah, so had to come back, talk about it, add this to the video. We'll see where I put it into the footage that I already recorded. Maybe I'll just scrap the footage that I talked about earlier, but I'm putting this in here somewhere. But yeah, Kyler Murray officially a Minnesota Viking.